I really don't want him to eat the house.
Just starts chewing.
Other than chewing on leaves.
Biting thing.
She's not real good on a leash.
It's kind of like he doesn't hear us.
Walking on a leash.
She crisscrosses in front of me.
And you have to really yell.
He wants me to try to catch him.
She's berserk. She claws.
Less than 50% of the time he comes.
He likes to get up in your face and lick on you.
And the jumping on you, that needs to be handled right away.
She jumps on you.
They think they own the house.
And a tan skin smells like the ocean. A tan skin smells like the ocean.
Okay, this is my daughter Helen. She's 8 years old. And this is Eve, and she is just about 10 months old, so she's still a puppy. And we got her from Roddy, and I met Roddy where he did a little show with his dogs and had dogs climbing trees and swimming to the bottom of a pond to get a rock. So I decided at that point I was going to have a Roddy dog. When I got her, he convinced me that I could train her by myself, and so that's what I've been doing, and we've just had a ball. She's, you know, for 10 months old, she's doing great, and even my 8-year-old daughter can work with her even as wild as she is as a puppy.
The problem with most people is they don't expect but this much out of their dogs. Even bird dog trainers who have point dogs, all they want them to do is point at the bird. That's such a small thing for a dog to do. They're capable of so much more. My name's Roddy Reynolds. I'm a professional dog trainer and owner of Bear Creek Kennel. We're located in the northwest Georgia mountains and close to Chattanooga, Tennessee. You know, my main goal with this video is to answer all the questions that people come to me with on an everyday basis. And I found out that most people are just real surprised to hear the answers I have for them. And I try to tell them exactly why I have this opinion. It is my opinion, but I can show them dogs that were trained with this method. And I tell them that if you like the way this dog is behaving and its attitude and everything, and you see how happy it is, but it does everything I ask, this is how we got it to this point. And what you're going to see in this video is the actual puppy doing it for the first time. And you'll see how it's done. It's not something that's rocket science. You'll see it being done, and you won't need me to train your dog. You'll be able to do it yourself. Dog training is really educating your dog. You know, it'd be like asking, why would you train your children? Same thing. Why would you train your dog? You're educating your dog and making it a productive member of your family. You feel like you got a handle on what to do with this puppy?
Not really. We forgot a lot.
Do you know what to do when you take it home? Where are you going to put it? Where is it going to be? How are you going to...
Well, we have a kennel and we have some good quality puppy food, and that's as far as we've gotten. Okay. So what can we expect the next couple of weeks?
Well, certainly when you take this puppy home, it's not going to be this well-behaved child that's sitting with us right now, because he's going to be by himself for the first time. I call my method of dog training pressure and praise. And it's real simply pressure for doing something wrong and praise for doing it right. Praise, it's real important in this function. When the dog is in the act of doing something good, you want to start praising. And praise escalates just like pressure does. If it starts to react a little bit in a positive manner, start to praise. And if it starts doing it better, increase your praise. Let it know you're happy. You want it to be a happy, confident dog. Okay, real quick, let me show you the method to escalate praise and escalate pressure. Praise is just an escalation of this is a little bit of praise. This is more praise. Good girl. Bess, you're a good girl, Bess. Good girl. And pressure is Bess, come here. Good girl. This is a little bit of pressure. Say no, and a little pressure. No, no, and take it from there and escalate it. And you're escalating it until you get a reaction from her. Remember, pressure is not punishment for a dog. Pressure is put on the dog when it's doing something wrong. It's in the act of doing it wrong. And it's just a little pressure to let him know that that's not what I want you to do. I'm not doing anything except pushing her away. And now I'm going to push her away a little bit harder. Every time she does it, the pressure is going to increase. And then watch.
All of a sudden she knows.
Now she knows, hey, that doesn't benefit me. And it gets worse, and it gets worse, and it gets worse. If she knows that about you, just that will stop it eventually. Any problems you have, no. That stops it, because she knows that if she doesn't stop then, you're going to take it up another notch.
Okay.
If she doesn't stop then, you're going to take it up another notch and take it up another notch wherever it needs to be taken. And now she's learned that this gets me praise. That got me in trouble.
Right.
And now we're just teaching her these theories. And if you're real consistent with those theories, she'll be a perfect little lady, like she is right now. One of the worst things owners do to create bad habits in a dog is they praise their dog and show it affection when it's doing something wrong. It's a cute little bitty puppy and it's sweet, and they just really don't care that it's doing something wrong, and they love it anyway. And it's not until the dog gets to be older and bigger and larger that they say, hey, I don't really like that, but you've been praising it for it every day of its life.
Hey, Bess.
All right, Whitney. You see what we're happening now is Bess is doing something we really don't want her to do, especially when she gets older, and we're praising her for it. And what we need to do real quick is communicate to her that we don't want her to do this. And this is how these bad habits get started. Is she's doing something, she's cute, she's sweet, and we're praising her for it. And it's just, I know you want to, your heart wants to praise her, but it's a good idea not to let a young dog do what you don't want a full-grown dog doing. So we need to communicate to her again. No, the next time she tries to jump us on her, we will try to communicate to her with this lead by saying the word no first and then giving her that little jerk. And now we're going to communicate to her that I don't want you to do this. Is there a problem with her getting up there? If you want her to, no. If that's something you've asked her to do, if you said, Bess, come on, let's go up here, load up. This is all right. I've asked her to do it. It was my decision. But if she just decides to do this, I want to tell her no and ask her to sit down.
Okay.
Okay, what's required of you to maintain a good puppy? Time, effort, consistency. What are we trying to work toward? We're trying to maintain, sit, heel, no. What are our tools? Leash, toy, body language. Always remember these things and you'll have a well-behaved family member at your house. Body language is part of this pressure and praise. You can put pressure on a dog with just a simple thing like a step toward the dog. And praise, a simple thing like just backing away from and say, come on, puppy. So that's where it starts. It's real small and real easy. The pressure can get worse and the praise can get bigger. Remember, communication is the key to this. We want to communicate to them in their language. They don't know English, so you're going to communicate to them with body language. A dog communicates to each other by a drop of the head, a tuck of the tail, a lift of the shoulder. We need to communicate to them in body language and be consistent with it. Okay, for an example of body language, it's always a step toward them when you're putting pressure on them and a step away when you're asking them to come to you. And I always give a hand signal for everything I ask them to do. I want their attention, heel, and she's looking at me and paying attention to all these little things that I'm doing. And she understands this. We do it on a consistent basis and do it the same way every time. Sit. If she does something wrong, I'm going to move toward her. If she's doing something that I want her to approach me, it's a moving away from her. This is language she understands. I never said a word to her, but she did what I asked her to do. Come up with a body language and a hand signal that works for you and stick with it. Your whole family needs to have those same hand signals. Body language works better than verbal commands. So we use a verbal command and a hand signal and the body language to get things done. Our program does use collar and a leash, and this is a way to direct our dogs and walk with them and get them started, but our goal is to eventually have them off collar and off leash and be able to do all these things just because we've asked them to do. Okay, this is Whitney, and she's just got her new puppy, and what have you decided to name your new little pup here?
Bess.
Bess, that's a good name. I like nice short names. What we're going to do first with this 8-week-old puppy is we're going to teach it to wear a collar, and then we're going to teach it to walk on a lead rope. And it's never had a collar on before in its life, and we're going to show you how it's done. Anytime you put any kind of collar on their neck, you want them to sit down nicely like this and introduce it over the top of their head, not in their mouth. And when you put the collar on, always praise after you put the collar on to say, this is a good thing, this is not a bad thing, because we're going to be using this a bunch to teach her a lot of new things. And we want her to think, oh boy, they're putting this on so we can go play. And then after you get that collar on her for a little bit, you're going to introduce a leash to it. And just any nice little light leash, you'll go ahead and hook her onto it. She's sitting down. All needs to be loose because she is being a perfect child right now. So we don't want to put pressure on her when she's doing something right. And now I'm holding on to her, and she's learning that she can't pull against this. It's so much easier if you start at this age. If you wait till they're 6 months old when they're a big dog, it's a lot of work. If you teach her at this age, it's just easy as it can be. And our end objective with this leash is to do without the leash altogether, where she can run around without any leash or collar on her. This is being real kind to a dog. Come on, Molly, let's go. Good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl. Will he come to you when he's called?
Usually. Occasionally, it's kind of like he doesn't hear us. We were talking about that on the way here. And you have to really yell for him, and then he'll perk up and hear his name and come.
He doesn't come every time.
But no, every time he doesn't. Every now and then you got to go get him.
Less than 50% of the time he comes.
Bad habits that dogs usually display, the worst ones are jumping on you, biting your hands, barking, digging, but probably the worst bad habit that a dog has is not coming to you when you call it. It's just that's the most important thing you can teach a dog, is to come to you when you call it. We're going to teach her her name, and you're going to use her name, and then you're going to clap your hands and start backing up and asking her to come to you. And if she doesn't come your way, just give her a little tug on this. Okay, now back up a little bit.
And still hold on to her?
Still hold on to her, and then when you ask her to come to you, be real animated and pull just a little bit.
Come here, Bess.
There you go.
Come here, Bess.
There you go, perfect. Now, kind of ease her down to sit and praise. There you go.
Good, Bess.
Perfect.
Good. Good, Bess.
See, this can be a real positive experience and easy and fun for everybody if it's done right. Now stand up and back away and call her to you again. Real animated.
Bess.
Clap your hands.
Come here.
There you go. Pull her to you. There you go. Praise her.
Oh, good girl.
All right, so here in a few minutes, she's already learning to come to her when she's called. You know, a lot of people are concerned about crate training their dog, and they're worried about putting it in that little crate, and they think it's being mean to the dog, but it's really not. In nature, dogs, their mother dogs, dig a little den up into the ground, up under a big rock or an overhang, and that's where they're raised in nature, and they feel real comfortable in their little den. And that's what you're going to do when you take the puppy home, is hopefully put it in a little crate and get it comfortable to its environment, and you'll be surprised how soon it's going to enjoy hanging out in that crate.
All right, so now that we have finished with her potty break, what should we do with her now?
Well, you've wisely elected to crate train her. and we've got to introduce her to this crate. You've put it in a good position here close to your door so you can take her out to go to the bathroom. And you've just taken care of all that. You've run around and got her tired. It's a great time to introduce her to the crate. So let's just go ahead and put her in there. What we want her to do is be comfortable in there. So when we put her in there, we're going to praise her.
Good girl.
Introduce something new to her. After we've praised her a little bit, we're going to go ahead and ease that door closed.
Now, how long should I leave her in there?
Well, the first time we put her in there, we just want her in there a minute because we don't want her to ever be upset about this.
Okay.
So after we've left her in there for a minute or so, we're going to go ahead and open that door and let her feel comfortable about this.
Okay. Now, what happens if she starts crying or whimpering? Should I go on and get her out?
You will get her out, but not while she is crying and whimpering. If she cries and whimpers, open the door a little bit and make her chill out and calm her down. And when she's calm, open the door and let her out. Okay, so we can see how he's crying and clawing and everything. We want to discourage that some, but okay, he's calm there for a second. Good. He opens the door right after he's been calm for a couple of seconds right now. That couple of seconds will turn into 4 or 5 seconds and 10 seconds, and you can expect him to do a little bit better at it all the time.
If she lays down, you can give her a toy, but if there's a furniture leg there, she may switch back and forth.
Right.
I'm fast on that.
Do you have plenty of toys for her to play with?
Yeah, lots. And we switch them in and out so she doesn't get bored with anything.
And you got them in her kennel too?
Yes.
Or in her crate?
She has a ball in the crate, and she has one of those teething bones.
Yeah. So what you're trying to communicate to her is when you're bored.
You may have a toy we give you.
When you're bored, you can sit in your kennel and sit around and chew on things. Is what you're trying to communicate.
Apparently, I'm trying to communicate that.
Yeah.
That was bad.
You don't have any toys in there.
Well, I bought some. Should I put those in?
I don't think it'd be a good idea because if you put toys in there, which everybody wants to do, you're just teaching her, when you're bored and you don't have anything to do, chew on stuff all day long. And you really don't want to teach them to, on their own, lay around and chew on things. There's just no place for it because when you let her out into your house, she's going to be chewing on things because that's what you've taught her to do. And there's a place for chewing on things. It's when you and her are playing together, but not by herself. Even her bedding here that you've got in there, if she tends to want to chew on that, I'd go ahead and take the bedding out too. So she just is not in that habit of ever chewing when she's bored. When you put them in that kennel, you need to take their bedding and the toys and everything out so there isn't anything to chew on.
Okay.
Which will eventually teach her
Don't chew.
don't chew on things. She won't be in that habit anymore. I believe I hear her awake now, Whitney. Now you see, you just got 2 or 3 hours of her being asleep, and she's done a little whimpering to let you know she's awake now, and she's kind of wanting out. She's being pretty good, so let's go ahead and open the door.
Come here.
Now, because she's been asleep, what's the first thing we need to do?
Time to go to the bathroom.
Time to go to the bathroom, so let's take her out. She did a good job. You did too. The reason we're doing this is we're wanting these puppies to come out and go to the bathroom as soon as they hit these leaves. And brand new puppies, when they're young, as soon as they wake up, they've got to go to the bathroom. You can just about count on it. So you just bring them to this pile of leaves here. First thing, they're going to go ahead and go to the bathroom. And if you keep moving that pile a little bit further away, they'll get to a further distance. And they'll just by doing it every day will hit those leaves and they'll want to go to the bathroom. Then you might be able to move this pile over closer to the wooded area that you might want to take them in. Eventually we'll move that pile of leaves right here in the woods and encourage them to kind of go back in the weeds and woods or your bushes or shrubs someplace and go to the bathroom there rather than teaching them to go out there in the middle of your yard where you're crowding and walking around. Their feeding time is a good time to start to learn how to put this pressure and praise on a puppy dog. You're going to feed them every day, 2 or 3 times a day. So do something simple like the little pressure is just holding your hand in front of his face and laying the bowl down and not letting it move forward. And if it'll stay for a couple of seconds, just take your hand away. Well, there's a little bit of praise just removing the pressure, and saying, "Good boy," and even pet it on the way to the food bowl. One of the most common questions I get asked is how much to feed your puppy. I like to feed them 3 times a day when they're young puppies. By the time they get to be about 3 months old, and cut it back to twice a day, and I feed them twice a day the rest of their life. Also, when you're feeding a puppy after 3 months old, you want to feel their ribs. If you can't feel the ribs, there's fat on them. It's just not healthy for a dog to have fat on them. Okay, I want to show you real quick. This is Star. She's a 5-year-old female. She's the mother of quite a few of these dogs you've seen out here. She's 5 years old and had 2 litters. And she's been fed properly her entire life. And what we're looking for is these ribs. Right there, I can feel, I could count her ribs if I wanted to. They're not pronounced or anything. You don't see them really sticking out, but you might see that last rib or two. That's the way to tell if you fed your dog properly. Feeding is something you're going to do every day with this puppy, and you're going to use this to your advantage to teach it to do things. And if you're a person that serves his dog, like dog followers do, you're going to just serve it and not expect anything out of that dog. Let's go, puppies. There you go, puppies. They're about to polish this food off, and I've got some more food in the bowl here, and I'm going to want them to follow me again. This is all about requiring something out of them before we feed them. Okay, puppies. I got some food here, puppies. Right here, some food. Puppies. Come on, pups. Come on. Puppies. Of course, I'm calling them puppies now because they don't have a name. And as soon as you take them home, you're going to do this by using their name. Calling them with their name. Get them used to that. You know, this training program, it needs to be fun for the dog. If it's not fun, he's not enjoying it, it's not going to be productive. Everything starts to, how do you teach him to do things? Toy. Drug dog, how do they chase around cars, hunting for drugs and going in and out of suitcases, hunting for drugs? They don't like drugs. They get to play with their toy if they make a find. It's just all toy driven. This is the real treat. This is why we start these puppies young, liking this toy. And it's not this toy he likes the best, it's the toy I decided I wanted to play with. It's my toy he likes best. And you don't get that toy drive out of a dog that's left with toys all day long. If you leave him with toys all day long, it's like no big deal to have a toy. But the only time Gus gets to play with toys is when he's with me or his owner. That's it. So now this is the best toy he's ever seen. Gus! You want him to like the toy. The last thing you want to do is take that toy away from him. That's what most people do with their retrievers. As soon as the puppy gets it and brings it back to them, they rip it out of their mouth. What you want to do is let him hold that puppy, that toy. And don't take it away from him, but just take it and throw it. See. As soon as it's in his mouth, I'm praising you. Letting him know this is a good thing to have that toy in your mouth. And I'm not taking it away from you. I'm going to reach down and we're going to play with it, but I'm not taking it from you. It's your toy. Now when it does come out of his mouth, it's just right there. Good boy.
Okay, Roddy, whenever I want Bess to retrieve a toy, like I'll toss the toy out and she'll run and go get the toy and then just chill out right there and chew on the toy, but does not bring it back to me.
And she doesn't know she's supposed to. And again, here you have this tool to make this happen. And she needs to enjoy bringing that to you. So try tossing it out there just a little bit and see what she does, and we'll address it some. I'll call her to you.
Bess?
Okay, I see what she does at home. Isn't that what she does at home?
Yes, except for usually she doesn't even make it that far.
Well, and then now you know why her toys are all chewed up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go ahead and take that back from her, and let's see if we can't make that happen the right way this time.
Okay. Bess.
Get her up there close to you. Sit her down so she can see her toy. All right. Keep this nice and loose, and throw it out there just like you did before. Say her name.
Bess.
Now grab a hold of the cord and kind of ease her in. Encourage her. Say, come on.
Oh, Bess. Come.
Good girl. Now praise her. Don't take it away from her. Just praise
Good
her.
girl, Bess.
Now put your hand on it while you're praising.
Good girl.
Now just say drop and take it out and throw it again.
Drop.
Just go ahead and take it. There you go, and throw it. Good girl. Send her after you.
Go get it, Bess.
Good girl.
Oh.
There it is. Good girl. Now reel her in. Good girl. Slowly.
Good girl.
Just kind of ease her on in. Come on.
Come here, Bess.
Let her get it. Good girl, Bess. Come on. Good girl. And praise her with the ball in her mouth.
Good girl.
That way she gets praise when she brings it back. You're not taking it away from her. But when you do take it from her, good girl, good girl.
Good girl.
Bess, get it. You're throwing it for her. You're not taking it away. Good girl, Bess.
Good girl, Bess.
Come on, come on. Good girl. And you have to get her out of that habit now of laying down and chewing on it.
So just let her keep the toy in her mouth for a minute.
Right. Because you don't want her to drop it until you've asked for her to drop it.
Good
and
girl.
That's drop. Bess, get the bird. Good girl.
Go get it. Good girl. Oh, good girl, Beth.
And see how happy she is to bring it back to you?
Hey.
Of course, the only bad thing of this is now she's climbing up in your lap with the toy. And we don't necessarily want her to get in that habit. So, but that's all right. We're teaching her to retrieve now. Remember, sit is a good command. Heel is a good command. Asking her to come to you is a good command. So you want to say it in the same way every time. You don't want to say, sit, sit! Now you're yelling this good command at her, and she doesn't understand the difference between the nice sit and the yelled sit. And so the only thing you want to communicate to her in a loud fashion is that word no. And no means you better stop. We want to one day be able to walk her without this lead, without that collar. We want to be real kind to her and reward her for her well-behaved, reward her for her good behavior by being able to take this off and walking her. And you know that she'll be in her place. So she's not going to know what her place is unless she's taught. All right, real quick, we're going to explain what heel means. That's one of your basics: sit, stay, heel, and no. Heel means for this dog to sit at your heel when you're standing still. And when you start walking, heel means to walk at your heel. With its nose up around your knee, that's where its space. It needs to walk in that place on the same side every time. That's what heel should mean.
Heel, 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 Allie, heel. Sit. Good girl. Good girl.
When you ask her to heel, you were being what everybody does is a dog beggar. Heel, 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 heel. And you said it real loud because it's what everybody does, but it's sort of like, well, she didn't hear me, so I have to say it louder.
Right.
She hears better than you and I heard it, and she heard it. She was just electing not to do it.
Right.
And she knew you really didn't mean heel until you took it up to that level, and now he really means it. He didn't really mean it before.
Kind of like my children.
Exactly. This all works pretty much the same way. Sorry, we can't put collars on our children. As soon as I say heel, I'm going to start walking. I'm not going to wait on her.
Okay.
And I'll show you real quick what we're going to do.
Okay.
Let's heel. And see, when I say heel, I just go. And if she pulls, I'll give her a little jerk. And she's always going to be on that side. And when she's not pulling, it's a loose lead. And then when I stop, I want her to sit down. And that was perfect. You've done a good job. But see, we communicated to her that this is the behavior I want her to do. And we've praised her when she sat down. this choke collar is a necessary thing, and we don't want to choke her, but this is how we encourage her to sit.
Okay.
Pulling up here, putting her down. And you're just going to give her that nice quiet command and say, Bess, sit. And then when you ask it, you put her down. Let's stand her up again, and I'll show you how we're going to do that. Bess, can you sit? Good girl. And as soon as she sits, you take the pressure away, loosen that collar, give her praise. This is where she gets her praise, sitting down, being nice. You're encouraging good behavior by praising her when she's in this position. Let me show you. To get him to sit, it's a little bit different. Pull up. Just hold it. Now, see, the sit and turn the pressure off.
Okay.
You just patiently and calmly put that little bit of pressure on him, and he just learned, how do I turn that pressure off? I sit down. And then you can start introducing the little commands, like, can you sit? Now I'm just going to pull up, and push down, and praise. That's a good girl. And we want to say these commands one time.
Just once.
Just once. So your body language is real important. Come on. And watch this. I'm going to ask him to sit without saying anything. Step to him. With pressure. Step away, not pressure. You see a dog come up to you that wants to jump on you, what's your reaction?
You back away.
You go, ooh. What is that to a dog? Come on, jump on me some more.
Right.
What should you do? No. That's animal language that they understand. No! They understand that. You understand it. They understand it too. So if he's doing something wrong, always step toward your body language. I'm coming to get you. What we're going to want her to do is sit there for 5 seconds today. 10 seconds tomorrow. 13 seconds the next day. Baby step into improvement. Sit means sit the rest of your life until we release her. Okay.
Kate, stay. Well, actually, I mean, I don't say stay.
Just do it like you normally do. Say sit.
Kate, sit.
And one of the things you just saw is that you've asked her to sit when you threw the ball and she just took off after.
Right.
What does sit mean?
Sit means sit.
How long?
Forever.
Right. It should mean. And that's what you need to communicate to her is that sit means sit there for the rest of your life until I've told you something else to do. Again, your body language was telling her it's all right to go. Because, let me show you, I'll go ahead and kneel down here and you can too. Here we're saying sit, and we're throwing that ball. Her options are wide open, and you can't back up what you've asked her to do. Mm-hmm. You can't catch her, you can't stop her. Watch what a difference this makes, this little bit of body change. Come here. All right. Sit. Sit. Now I've backed up what I've asked her to do. Okay. I have that control over her now that says, do what I've asked you to do. So I put her behind me a little bit. So where she's going is in that direction. And I can do something about it. Sit. Okay. So I just touched her a couple times with the finger that time. Much easier. Body language changed things immediately. Let's go. All right, sit.
So she needs to be in front of me. I mean, in back of me. Behind me.
So you can step up and do something.
Okay.
She's smart enough to know that when you're behind her, she can do what she wants to.
Right.
Sit. And I'm just touching her foot. Okay. And just the touch of the foot now has made a big difference in there. She's still dropping the ball, but we'll have to work on that. That's a bad habit. Katie, heel. Now basket, it's going to happen. All right, now we're going to take this a little bit farther. Katie, sit. What most people do is they throw the ball behind it. But what we're going to do is ask her to sit. No. Now you know what direction she wants to go in, and I can do something about it. Katie, Katie. And then when I ask her to go, I just move away. Body language again says, okay, you're fine.
Sit. Molly.
You told her to sit. She didn't do it. And then you said Molly, and she didn't do anything, and then you let her go. You didn't back up that I told you to sit. If you do that a bunch, she's going to know that sometimes you say it, sometimes I have to do it, sometimes I don't. So if it comes out of your mouth, you got to make it happen. So if you ask her to do it and she doesn't do it, she's done something wrong. It's always no. And if you say no and there's no changing her attitude, it's no. Go for it. Some pressure. No, stop sit. What does that mean? He doesn't know. Yeah. What if he went bark, 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 bark to you? Would you know what it meant?
No.
Y'all don't know what each other are saying. So you have to develop a means of communication. Now, how can you teach him what no means? If he does something wrong, no. Now I put something behind that word no. Now, is this not being much nicer to your dog? Being able to take her anywhere like this? Yeah. And it's not me holding on and pulling her around. Don't you want this dog?
Yes, yes, I do.
I hear people say all the time, I've told my dog no 100 times and it doesn't listen to me, it doesn't pay any attention. That's because they're just saying the word. They're not putting anything behind it. And we need to put a little bit of pressure behind that word no. And if you put a little bit of pressure behind the word no and it doesn't get a response from her, the pressure needs to escalate. And pressure is always escalating. And you always want to keep that loose lead.
Okay.
If she moves it forward, little tap jerk, and then take that loose again. If it's tight, she's doing something wrong. And if she's doing something wrong, that's a good opportunity to say no. Now you're teaching her what the word no means and putting a little bit of pressure behind that word no. And when you walk her, when she is in her correct space, get this over here, when she's doing it right, that needs to be loose because she's doing it right. Okay. As soon as she moves to the point where that becomes taut like that, you're going to give her a jerk and she comes back and takes the pressure away. Right. And you're teaching her not to pull on this leash. This is not something for her to pull on. Okay. You need to be able to hold it with 2 fingers just like that. And if she's pulling that out of your fingers, you're going to give her a little jerk. I don't want you to do that. Mm-hmm. And you're teaching her that theory that you walk in this place, you'll have no pressure as long as you're in your spot. Mm-hmm. Most people teach their dogs to walk at the end of that lead and to pull. And you'll see people all over holding on to their dog and their dog's dragging them wherever they want to go. Right. And that's not a good way because she's going to grow up and be a big dog one day, pulling you where she wants to go. You want to try getting her to come back to you again?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if we can get Bess to come out of the picture. So. Let's go, Bess. Where's your toy at? Look here. Come on, Bess. Come here. Remember, you're going to say her name real nicely and then just ask her to come to you. One word.
Bess, heel.
Good girl. Come on. Good girl. You're a good girl. Now, she's a good girl, but now we want her to
sit.
There you go. And we made it happen.
Good
And she gets praise for it. If she's used to this every day, this is the way it is, she'll do it. If you ask her to come to you and you feed her and she has to sit down, she's going to get used to this relationship, and now she's going to come to you when you call. The most important thing is she's got to come to you when you call. This will keep her from getting run over by a car somewhere, or she sees a squirrel and she chases it, and you can't get her to come back to you. This is one of, by far, the most important things you can teach her. To come to you, to sit when she's told, and you've taught her what no means now. Now you can communicate to her she's doing something wrong. And if you're sitting around following your dog when you walk your dog on a lead, and he's pulling you around, this is just going to get worse and worse. And the relationship has already started out that He's lead dog, you're dog followers.
Right.
He doesn't respect dog followers. He respects lead dogs. So you can't let him get in the habit of pulling you on this lead.
Right. So you have to.
You have to be top dog. So this walk that I'm asking you about is a real important thing.
Perfect example, isn't it?
Well, she's doing what puppy dogs do. And she's also doing what puppy dogs do when because their owners are letting them do this. And can you imagine if you do this every day, walking your dog like this, what this is going to be like when she's a year old, pulling you around and chewing on the leash and stuff. And right now, this is what you're practicing on an everyday basis, is her doing it wrong. And if you practice it every day, one of my things that I tell everybody is, don't let your cute, little, sweet puppy do things that you don't want a full-grown dog doing. Just go ahead and stop it right now, and don't encourage it. Okay, Whitney, I'm going to put you in the driver's seat. I'd like you to try it. Just put that water rope in your hand, this one in your left hand. And when you ask her to go, just say her name, Bess. I want your attention. Heel. And when you say heel, start walking.
Okay. Bess, heel.
Go. Don't wait on it. There you go. Now walk this way. Perfect. There you go. She's following you now and even looking at you. That's perfect. That's what you want. Is that the puppy dog you had before?
No.
Good. Now she's sat. Now praise her.
Good.
Now I'm walking Hudson where he's supposed to be. And when he's in his position, that lead goes loose. When he gets behind me, I'm putting pressure on him. And if he stops, I'm not going to stop. I'm walking where I want to walk. He needs to follow me. And if he learns that if I stop and pull, they'll stop. It puts him in charge. There he sits down.
He really is doing that fairly well.
How about that? Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Roddy, I've started to take Bess off leash a little when we're walking on the trails in the woods and stuff, but sometimes I feel like she kind of wanders off and I don't really know how to keep her with me, that kind of thing.
Well, good. This is what we want her to do one day is be able to walk off leash. And remember, that's what we're trying to do with this process, is get her off leash and no collar and stuff, and be able to take her for walks in the woods. But what we're going to do is you're going to take her for a walk, and she's going to naturally walk down that trail in front of you a little bit. And when you feel uncomfortable with the distance she is, what your natural reaction is going to be to say, Bess, come here, come back, heel. What we're going to do is a little bit different. When she gets out in front of you a little bit, we're going to take a turn the other direction. And what we want to put in her mind is that she has to watch you and follow you, not you follow her. So when she gets out in front of you, you've taken another direction, and she's going to finally miss you and go, oh, where is she? And come running back and find you going the other direction, and now she's following you again. Right. And if you do this every time you come to an intersection, she'll be a follower and you'll be a dog leader. This is one of my favorite things to do. We're going to introduce this little puppy to the water. This should be something you do pretty quick and pretty soon. You need to fix a nice, or find a nice warm day with some fairly warm water for a young puppy, but you want them to enjoy this. This is not just a Labrador, this is any dog thing. You know, going to introduce it to them. So this is a lot of fun, so sit back, we're going to enjoy it. What we're going to do is just walk on into the water. I've got him on my arm and he's calm. He's never been in the water ever in his long life. So what we're going to do is ease him over here and point him toward shore. And what he's going to do, although he's never swam before, he's just going to point himself toward shore and ease right up to the water and go swimming. And we picked this particular location because he can walk right out of the water and very untraumatized. Now he'll probably shake off once he's got out. There he goes. And you can see he's not afraid of it. He's just a little too young to fear anything. We've never taught him to fear things. And we don't want him to be afraid of this. We want him to enjoy it. So that was an easy experience for him. So what we're going to do is do that 2 or 3 more times and do it a little bit bigger, and he's going to get better at it. And here he is standing next to the water. He doesn't care. That's just fine with him. Okay, now we've got him out here just a little bit further than we did last time. He's just as calm as he was. He's going to do exactly the same thing. So we're going to ease him back in the water, and here he comes. He's learning his direction control, but he wants to go to shore. This is what's natural for him. Let's see if we can even encourage him back in the water because we've taught him to come to us. Come on, puppy. Come on, puppy. Good puppy. Look at that. He's come in on his own. This is my favorite part here. What we're going to do is teach him a little directional control. We're going to ease him in the water just like he always did, and he's going to want to head to shore. We're going to help him turn a little bit. Kind of gently place your hand under there, turn him around, let him come to you. Occasionally just ease him back out of the water, get him comfortable with you, and you're going to help him with this, not hurt him with it. Put him back in. Puppy! Come on, puppy. Good puppy. And he's learning to go kind of where he wants to go now. And this is going to be very easy for him. He's very comfortable in the water already. Okay, little Bess here was one of the 5-week-old puppies that we taught to swim early on in this DVD. And what we're going to teach her to do now is a fun thing, is to take that a little bit further, is to retrieve out of the water. This is something that's a good job for her to do. She's going to earn a paycheck by going and getting it and bringing it back. And we can exercise her in the water a whole lot by throwing this in the water and bringing it back to us. It's a whole lot of fun. You ought to train every dog to do these kind of activities. Here's your toy, Bess. And this is how we're going to do it. We're going to start her close. Bess, get your bird. Right there, get the bird. Good girl, there it is. Good girl. That's my girl. That's a good girl. And then you're just going to throw it a little bit in the water where she can step in the water and get it.
Good girl.
Good girl.
Good
Now,
girl.
Whitney, throw it out there a little bit further. Good girl, Bess.
Good girl,
Good
Bess.
girl. Now watch this time. She's going to swim actually for the first time with the retriever toy. There you go, Bess. Oh, she almost swam. And that's what we're doing, is baby step her to go get it and bring it back to you. Now let's throw it a little bit further. Hey, Bess. One more time, Bess. There it is. Good girl. Now she is swimming and with her toy in her mouth for the first time. Good girl, Bess.
Good girl. Come here. Thank you.
Okay, and here we're using our toy to train with. Bess. Here we go, Bess. Look, Bess. Bess, get it. And we're saying her name to send her out there after it, and she's swimming again. Not a big deal when you've trained your puppy young to swim. They're certainly not afraid of the water at this point. And now you just teach her what to do with the toy in the water. Go get it, bring it back, go get it, bring it back, go get it, bring it back. And so now you can exercise your dog further and further and further. As far as you can throw that ball one day, she can swim out there and swim back with it. Isn't this fun?
I know.
Bill Chapin.
Lola's here.
I thought you
Can Lola come out?
I thought you had forgotten about us.
No. Can Lola come
Sure,
out?
let Lola out.
Here comes Lola.
Get back, Busy. Lola. Oh, Lola. Uh-oh.
She's gonna start here.
Busy. Lola.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
Hey, Lola. 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 Lola.
Whitney, we've got a opportunity to go meet some new dogs here. This is a real important thing for her education. Let's take her up. Let's show you how to take her up and introduce her to other dogs. Doesn't look like they're necessarily well-behaved dogs, and this is a good opportunity for us to make Bess be well-behaved around other dogs. Hello.
Hi.
Can we meet your dog?
Sure. Hi there.
Can you sit?
Hi. He's sweet. He's sweet.
That's all right. We're just training you a little bit. We want our dog to sit down and approach dogs this way. We want them to be able to come up and smell. Look here.
Who's
There
this?
you go.
Who's this?
Good job. Can you sit? Who's there? Good job. And I'm just here interacting, being sure that everybody behaves well. And they're going to smell each other and find out they're new dogs.
Are they okay?
But I still have them on leash.
So she should be sitting
Yeah, I
the whole
like for
time?
her to sit and approach these things. I don't want her to learn to jump on dogs, just like I don't want her to jump on people. And
Right.
stuff. Some dog might bite her for that. So, you know, we don't know these dogs, so we want to approach her. This gives her a body language that says, hey, I'm not aggressive. And everybody's happy about this. If you've got a dog that doesn't like other dogs, if this dog is sitting down, it's not showing any aggression, and you won't have dog fights this way. All right, real quick, we need to learn how to get our dogs into a car. This is something you want to do often in travel, and people make mistakes of helping their dog in and picking it up and putting it in, and you'll have to do this the rest of your life. So let's teach them to do it right to begin with. Okay, this may look easier than it really is, but what we're going to do real quick is build on those basics that we taught her to follow us on lead. And we're going to indicate where we want her to go, and we're going to pull in the direction we want the dog to go in. So Bess, heel. There he goes. And we'll teach her to do it off lead eventually. Asking her to come back out is also just like we've done everything else. We've taught her to respond to us. We're going to ask her to heel just like we have many times before. It's just going to be coming out of the vehicle now. Bess, you want to heel? And when she stopped, I gave her a little tap jerk because she stopped to pressure her on to me. Load up. Heel. Come on. There you go. Good girl. All right, get her to load up.
All right, Bess.
Okay, one thing you were doing is you were pulling her straight up. And you're thinking she's got to jump up. You need to pull her in the direction that you're wanting her to go, which is Bess, and pull her toward the back of the car. Give that a good try. Pull her out again. Let's go, Bess. Say heel.
Heel.
And so you're pulling her toward you. And go ahead and make it happen.
Heel.
There you go. Now sit her down.
Sit.
And here's the toy. Throw it in there and guide her up there and pull her in the direction you want her to go.
All right, Bess. Load up.
There you go. Perfect. Whitney's reason we're here is we want to introduce little Bess to the world here. And here we are in a cow pasture of all places. And these cows don't know what we're doing here, and Bess doesn't know what we're doing here, but we want her to be able to approach something new and feel comfortable that you're her protector. So she doesn't need to protect you from these cows. You're the top dog, so you're the protector here. You can see Bess is just calm about this because we're calm.
Right.
Our attitude's going right through this leash. She's never met a cow before. Let's see if they'll touch nosing. Good girl. Nope. And we don't want to let her run.
Okay.
This is not a grizzly bear, so she's not allowed to run and fear things. We don't want her to be afraid of things. You're here as her protector. She doesn't need to be afraid of anything. Good girl. What is that? Isn't that the funniest looking dog you've ever seen? How about that, Bess? Let's go. Come on, Bess. Come on, Bess. Can you sit? Sit. Let's back away and see if the cow comes. Nope. Bess, sit. And we'd kind of like her to face this. If she turns her back to it, it's showing fear.
Mm-hmm. Good girl, Bess.
And this is what we call introducing her to the world. You know, we'll do this with a horse, we'll do this with a motorcycle, anything, loud noises and things with, you know, around birds and pigeons and ducks, and get her used to the world out here and educate her as a young pup that none of these things are things for her to fear or go get or eat or be aggressive toward. We haven't got the cows trained yet. We'll have to work on that next week.
So do you just have Bess sitting
Yeah, we're just here.
in front of the motorcycles,
Yeah.
the cows?
Well, you approach it and you walk up to it calmly. A motorcycle you can walk all the way up to. And even if it's running, you just calmly take her to it and don't let her run or fear from it. If she tries to run, prevent her and calmly ask her to come up there and approach it and smell it and show her that it's not a big deal. It's loud, noisy, big old Harley motorcycle. Just calmly walk up to it. And
By us staying calm, she
Yeah,
knows to be calm.
what your attitude comes through this leash right to your dog. And if she gets kind of crazy, calmly correct her and just move on. Okay, real quick, what we did just then was we introduced Bess to a new thing. She'd never seen a cow before, and she was nervous and afraid, and she had her back to it, and that was showing her fear, and then the cow approached her and she ran. And we don't want to let her run from these things. Here we are as her protector. She needs to feel comfortable that we've put her in this situation. So we turned her around, made her face her fears, and let the two try to come together. And her stand there and take it because she's confident that her owner is in charge of this. Okay, Whitney, you've done a good job. Do you remember the tools needed to train your dog?
The toy, the leash, and the body language.
That's very good. Y'all have both been a very good student. Do you remember the basics that she needs to learn and maintain throughout her life?
Sit, heel, and no.
That's very good. Those are the three things that we've got to maintain the rest of her life. And if any of those three start to falter, everything is going to unravel and you'll start to struggle and struggle and struggle. So come back and maintain those basics and then build on those basics. Good job, Whitney. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Good. All right, sit. Look at me. Good. We continue their education. We expect more out of them. We challenge them longer, further, bigger, better. Keep it up with your dog. Don't stop when they're just a few months old. Old man, 13-year-old Ford. Sit down. Is that the best ball you've ever seen in your life? Tell me. Speak to me. Speak to me. Same thing? Yeah. Okay, always remember, this is real important. Be a dog leader, not a dog follower. All right, people ask me when to start training their dog, and my answer is always immediately. You usually pick your dog up by the time it's 6 or 7 weeks old, and that's when its training needs to start. They're not going to get this ball, which they want real bad. This is their paycheck. they're not going to get that real bad unless they do it my way. They work for me the way I want them to work. Okay, remember to be a calm leader. If you're anxious or nervous, your attitude is going to flow right through this leash right to your dog. And you can't expect her to be a well-behaved dog if you're not a calm person. You know, people always ask me about, you know, their dogs are biting on them and stuff. You know, they're not really biting you, they're just exploring things with their mouth. But you need to discourage that right now. It needs to happen, and it's just a little bit of a discouragement. Give them an open palm, they can't bite on it. And when they try to, just kind of push them away, a little bit of pressure. And don't let them think it's a game to do that. Another question people ask me all the time is, they might have a 2 or 3 year old dog and they call me up and ask me, when is this puppy going to stop acting like a puppy? And my answer is always the same, is when you start training it not to act like a puppy. Okay, we've mentioned how important it is to have eye contact with your dog. And we've asked, how do you get that eye contact if they just won't look at you? Here you have this tool again, it's always available to you. You're going to say the dog's name, Kate. Up. Get your finger up here, get her attention. And when she has your attention, when you can see her eyes, then you can ask her to do something. So here's your tool again to get that eye contact. Kate. Good girl. Kate, heel. Good girl. Can you sit? And I'm going to make it happen. We're going to tell her once. If she doesn't do it, we're going to put some pressure on her. Remember, a tired dog is a good dog.